This is Alex Karitis of the Cynics channel, providing you with cynical commentary. The topic, taxation without representation. In the dawn of the American Revolution, no taxation without representation was an early battle cry. Spanning the 13 colonies, many colonists were opposed to the levying of taxes by the British Parliament without having proper representation, and rightly so. This, among several other grievances, led to the American Revolutionary War. Now fast forward over 200 years and observe the modern landscape of American politics and the socioeconomic climate. Would it not be prudent in today's time to resurrect such a battle cry? However, this time with a slight amendment that is more appropriate to utter taxation without representation. The United States is comprised of two houses, the House of Representatives and the Senate. Together, these 535 legislators chart the policy course for the United States of America for both domestic and foreign affairs. Their policies have consequences. Under the leadership or lack thereof of past and current Congresses and presidents, the United States finds herself approaching a national debt of $20 trillion. This is unacceptable and apprehensible. While some argue that debt does not matter, then the simple question that arises is, why then do we have prices? If debt does not matter, then the pricing of goods and services is nothing but an exercise of futility. Simply buy what you want and worry not. Perhaps such a lack of basic economic understanding is why we find ourselves in such troubling economic and financial times. Regardless, to the greater point of taxation without representation, we can see that the federal government takes in nearly $3.3 trillion and spends nearly $3.8 trillion, with the difference making up our national budget deficit. It is never enough, and Washington, D.C. always needs a little more. Forget deteriorating infrastructure, failing school systems, over 40 million people receiving food stamps, nearly 50 million people considered to be living in poverty, the unsustainability of Social Security, Medicare and Medicaid, Obamacare, seemingly endless wars. This all matters not. Wake up, go to work, and be a patriotic American and pay your taxes for such brilliant policies and programs. Dare not ask questions of your representatives, for they know best. Dare not question the legitimacy of government statistics and accounting, for nothing but the highest levels of ethical standards are enforced. Question not your station in life. Be content in what your government has given you, and be thankful and willing to provide even more. Yes, it is taxation without representation. For who truly benefits from such government largesse? Is it the special interests who bankroll our politicians? Or is it the millions of Americans and their families who live paycheck to paycheck? Is it the institutions that place us all at risk and then receive taxpayer-funded bailouts? Or is it the 40 million on food stamps and the 50 million in poverty? Who then is represented? Where has the notion of freedom and individual liberty gone to? What if a man wishes not to partake in such government programs? Where is his recourse? Does this then not infringe upon his freedom, property, and pursuit of happiness? The role of government is to protect its citizens from force. How then can such a government force its citizens to comply with that which it does not believe? How then can such a government have any true legitimacy? We find ourselves living within a very dangerous form of government, democracy, proven to be dangerous by the ancient Greeks, who found that 51% of the population forcing 49% of the population to comply with their will is not only unsustainable, but immoral and unethical. We continuously find ourselves ever further removed from the constitutional republic that built this nation and protects and defends the greatest of all minorities, the individual. What America now observes are the undertones and overtones of fascist and socialist policies, two rails to the same track, with disaster as its inevitable destination. Such flawed policies did not spring up overnight. No, this has been a systematic slow creep by its proponents to malign and demonize the righteousness of free market capitalism when the opportunity presented itself, even though such quote-unquote market failures were a direct result of their flawed policies. This lack of basic understanding on the just power and righteousness of free market capitalism gives testament to the failing educational system throughout this country. And do you think this is by accident? The selfishness of bureaucracy and the corruptible power that exists within the halls of Congress, the White House, and large industry are the ones who benefit from such government largesse, and this is no secret. Yet what is our response as citizens? To re-elect the same representatives? Is this not madness? Perhaps then, this is what the American people deserve. I think not. But what then is my recourse? In a state where taxation without representation rings true, then revolution is my divine right.